Mike Michalowicz published it in one of the books. He's like, your business becomes this like cash-eating monster, and certainly it does, but it's also like stress and anxiety and all these negative connotations, and that is not why any of us go into business. We signed up for it, but that's not exactly our goal, right? And so it's about how can we refine that into the process of, these are the things that I love to do. I love to show up. I'm ready for these things and I want to do this work, versus kind of that grind and nonsense, challenge stuff. I think today we're going to talk about how do we, as the business owner, we commonly wear all the hats, right? Especially when you're first starting out. You do everything. You are the baker, the candlestick maker, right? But as you grow your business, how can you get into the roles that you really love and appreciate, doing the work that you're passionate about and that you're good at, and getting rid of everything else? I'm Stephen Taylor. I'm on a mission to live a wholly successful life. For the last 10 years, I've been building a couple $1 million cybersecurITy support company here in Chicagoland. And this video series, weekly video series, is a lot of my thoughts and feelings on everything in business, in technology, and also in life. And if you think this stuff is super interesting and worthwhile, please give it a like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, all of the above, and share it out with your friends. I was at an EO meeting, and shout out to Ryan and Laura. We got talking. Ryan had been watching some of the videos, and then we were talking. And one of the challenges that others face is around, how is it that you're not working 60 hours a week, and you don't have to do all the things anymore. And really for me, it was about delegation, right? And through different periods of the business, I've always had to learn to maybe give something up or quit a role. And I think we talked about that in one video, where you've got to become a business owner and a salesperson and be the vision and be the lead. You can't be the engineer and the technical person anymore. And so we had a kind of a longer discussion, and there's a ton of information around this, a lot of like, how do I get rid of the to-do list, and how do I really drive my business forward? And I think, and what I found is that as the leader in a smaller business, 5, 10, 50 employees, more than likely you're the salesperson or the head salesperson until you really build out that sales and marketing team. And so sales is one of the most important roles. But for me, and I think very typical in our industry, we all grew up as the engineer and the technician. And so that's in that other video we talked about me having to fire myself as the technician so I could move into sales. But how else do we, really level up and move into the different roles and really lead our business versus doing the grind work and the to-do list stuff? And there's a lot of quadrants on the internet, the Eisenhower matrix and these other ones. And really it's a 4-box square, right? And at the lowest level, this is stuff that's either not urgent and not important, or another way to look at this is like, this is the stuff that I hate doing that I'm not good at, right? And this box in the bottom really is all of the different things that you need to get rid of. You need to outsource, hire someone, give to someone else on the team, and get away from, because you're not doing a good job, right? You hate it, and it's not urgent or important to the business, and so it just needs to be delegated, to someone else. And maybe it's a virtual assistant, maybe it's an intern, maybe it's a part-time employee for some of your first ones, and then as you progress, you'll really hire a full-time person for 3 to 5 of these different things that are just on your list of, I hate this stuff, I don't want to do it. But conversely, at the top of the quadrant, right? And you get the opposite in the other corners, but more importantly, you get at the top quadrant. This is stuff that I love to do, I'm passionate about, I'm great at, right? And or it's stuff that's urgent and important to the business, right? These are the things that need to get done now, and you're probably the best suited to do it, right? But I don't really want to think in terms of to-do lists and getting shit done and all that stuff. It was like, what is going to make you jump out of bed and go to work every day on fire and passionate about what you do? It's going to be stuff that you love and that you're good at. And so your job over, again, the course of a business is to continue to look at this, refine these things down, and find the stuff that inspires you. Back when, for me, it was engineer and technician and going and, implementing servers and doing email migrations and figuring out the nuts and bolts of kind of the processes in our business. I love that stuff. But over time, I started to loathe that stuff, and it was very challenging. And I still have stories, of sleeping in server closets and fixing the different things, right? And dropping everything I was doing to go fix customers that were down. But again, over time, those things changed. And then I realized, wow, I'm actually pretty good at sales. I enjoy sitting down with a customer and having a conversation. We talked about, sales is not selling in that last video. And so I took enjoyment to that. I enjoy sharing our story and telling more people about it. And I also enjoy leading the business and looking at how can we improve different areas and different buckets, and working with a few team members to do that. Not necessarily, again, me just sitting behind the computer doing all the different things, right? I enjoy some collaboration and working with the team and helping guide them to figure things out or improve upon a process. And so again, over time, you're always looking at these different quadrants and shifting more and more of this delegation stuff away, outsourcing it, VA, internal employee, whatever it might be, and focusing all of your time on the good, impactful, most important, urgent things in the business that you're actually really good at and you love doing, right? And it's always going to change after time. It's important to look at it maybe on a 1 year basis, and maybe right now you can't have another employee, or you're not able to afford it, but it's on your to-do list of like, all right, man, I hate doing the finances every week. This is something that I need to get off my plate, and over time, 6 months, 12 months later, you're able to do that. Then you shift and you move on, right? But I think a lot of people get stuck in the trap of, well, I'm the best at this and I know how to do it and I'm just going to do it and it'll take me longer to teach someone else or SOP it. And, they're grinding away and they're doing the 40, 50, 60 hour a week thing, or they're just constantly bombarded by emails and questions and requests and all that kind of stuff. And you want to offload some of that stuff. Why did you go in business in the first place, right? To create an impactful company, doing cool stuff that you love, right? But not to work yourself to death, right? To be able to spend more time with your family, to make good money and to take care of others on your team, right? Not sit there every single day grinding out the email and having to work on a Sunday night to do all those things, to always be catching up, right? And so I feel it's super important to really be reviewing all this stuff and look, what is the stuff that I can get rid of, that I can get off my plate so I can live a more wholly successful life? Well, I think it was, 1 year, probably around New Year's. I think it might have been January of last year. I came into the office. I usually keep a red inbox, right? Most of the emails are red, but if they need follow-up, I'll flag them, right? And then there's the follow-up folder that, okay, I need to go through all this stuff. And I had built up over time, I think it was like 100, maybe 200 flagged emails. And I came in, January, I think, of last year, and I look at this and I go, some of the stuff had just been on there for so long, where you look at it and you're like, ugh, I don't feel like, no, right? But in your mind, you're like, oh, I need to get to these things. I should do these things, or I need to, right? But then the reality is, you look at it, is any of it urgent? Is any of it important? And I'm like, well, no. Well, then that kind of means it's down here and it really doesn't mean anything. And so I was like, you know what? New year, time for a fresh start. I went in and deleted all of them. And, you might be like panic stricken or anxiety, thinking, oh no, like something's going to blow up, or like something's going to, go wrong in all this. And literally nothing came out of it. Nobody missed anything. They weren't like responding saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe you didn't get back to me, or anything like that. It was all just stuff that, might have been interesting to pursue or might have been worthwhile, but it wasn't urgent. It wasn't important. It wasn't that, 5 or 10%, which was really going to drive the business forward. It was just stuff. And getting rid of it, of course, was so freeing, right? Every day you're coming in and you're looking at the follow-up, counter, and it's 152 messages, and you're like, ugh, I got to get all this stuff done that I know I should, but I hate and I don't want to. That's not the way, to kind of show up every day for your business and for your team. In close, what's one thing that you loathe and challenge and are not good at in your business that really you need to delegate or outsource here shortly?